because this is gonna blow your mind. So my name is Pamela Watson-Breedlove. I've been with the district a long time. I've always been in education. From second grade, I wanted to be a teacher. So this is nothing for me to do this. But what we've always encountered, and after, I don't want to say COVID, but it happened. And now it's our time to reset. So all of these things we're hearing for elementary and higher ed and even into the high school, I'm gonna tell you, it starts right here. It starts right here. So when I looked at New York State, I have my notes, the memory is 0. So my question is, how do we create a policy that is inclusive and equitable to all? This is the policy. This is New York State policy. So I sat down with our social worker and she was like, Pam, I should have been presenting this instead. But she broke it down to me. This is the state, but each individual district interprets it the way they want. So it's the law though. So we know the law. It can be interpreted many different ways. So I said, interesting, because our district has begun to do this, but at the account of our general ed students. I have to say that, because to me, that's who's suffering a lot right now. This is the vision for me. All students and their families have equitable support. I want parents are educated and supported to understand the support system as needed through the process. I interviewed 2 participants and they really want that parent, and that's to me the whole thesis throughout this whole thing. It's the parent engagement. And I'm gonna tell you, we're still struggling with that even in pre-K. So it's something that's breaking down this family engagement. So we're gonna be looking at empowered programs, trauma-informed programs, lack of universal pre-K programs, relationship building, interconnectedness. Just like we met every Saturday, I can guarantee you we now have an interconnectedness with one another. Before we walked in there, it wasn't anything. Nobody trusted one another, nothing. But now I can guarantee you, I can call Kyle, I can call Christine. I sit down with Christine at every PD now. Wouldn't have never done that if I didn't make that connection before. It's the same thing with parents, the same exact thing. Pediatrician observation, I'm totally all in. I'm sick and tired, and I will tell a pediatrician this, that whole team, I'm tired of them saying, oh, he's just delayed, let's wait. What are we waiting for? If a kid is not speaking, if a kid is not observing and doing the things he needs to do, you can give a wiggle room. That's what I call it, wiggle room. But another 6 months, no. Let's get this thing started so when these kids walk in, they're ready, or at least we know, okay, they have early intervention, we can move that. Not to mention Monroe County does it free. You call them up, they say we're there, no worries. Educational resources for parents. I think we should go back, we're sharing on this one. Parents need their GEDs. What's wrong with the school building being that? We're the rec centers now, right? So we can be part of getting these parents what they need, because a lot of our parents have never even finished school. So they're afraid of it, whether they were in special ed, their parents is generational. So we're not dealing with one generation. It's probably about 7 now generations we're dealing with. What matters most to support families? Simple but inclusive support and follow-up. I don't want to get away from this because I'll be rambling, guys. We want our parents to have the support during that paperwork. When I seen the packet, I don't know if I have forgot because I hadn't been in elementary in 5 years. When I seen the packet, I told the parent, who is going to fill that out? And she said, I'm supposed to. We sat down, and I have to tell you, I still needed help in filling out the packet. So that alone, and I told her, I said, I'm so glad you stayed, but we stayed an extra hour, but everybody in that building, social worker, parent liaison, director, had to be a part of that. So I'm like, how do you fill this out at your house? Can't be done. Can't be done. So that was something that really came up in my interviewees. They was like, this paperwork has got to get simpler. It has to be parent driven, but parent driven to a point where they're still supported. Because parent driven can mean anything. For us, it's like, okay, we can do it. We've all educated, but some of us even can't do it. We don't like, I'm not doing this after a full day of work. So we understand. empowered programs. Now, I found this BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, and people of color communities in the United States, which I love what they did. They're going into the communities to build trust. Because I'm telling you, you come into my community running your mouth, I'm not listening because I don't know you. So I know for a fact, I can talk to my parents all day until I said, come in, take some time with me. Because listen, this voice is coming across strong. Well, it's strong sometimes, but I'm all right. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta get to know me. But it's still gonna be a strong presentation when you're still first meeting me. So you have to understand, parents read differently. Their trauma is so connected. Till I said one time, this is a true story. I said to a parent, I know you guys are going through a lot right now. That sparked like the biggest blowout I ever seen. I was like, what happened? She said, don't ever say that to me. And I said, okay, what did I say? So now I'm going through my head, and it was that simple phrase. I know you guys are going through a lot. She said, everybody has said that to me in my life. You don't know what I'm going through. So that now, that's on my front end to be careful not to say. But we had to really work through that, because she said, I felt like you were coming at me. So me, just saying it innocently, but to her, it was so much bigger. So those are the things we have to be careful of. That's where you get into the communities with the families, start to learn them, and they're gonna share a lot more than you probably ever really wanted to know. But it gives you an insight into what's happening. Lack of universal pre-K preschool. It's evident the work needed to change the system. It takes reimagination and equity empowered programs. Let's get some early intervention programs. When I say that, so pre-K, when I came into pre-K 5 years ago, I have to tell you, I think it was only one other minority. If it was two, I'm shocked. So there, I came in like a bull in a china shop, but I needed them to understand you're not gonna get it anywhere. And they still push back, but I really believe it should be a pre-K parent program in the very beginning. Not with the parent liaison, but with the leaders of that pack, because it helps them to understand. If I have a 3-year-old and that's my first child, I need help. So I'm trying to get them to see to do that, it'll work out better. It with the teachers, bring teachers in, because we all have biases. I know I had a whole bunch when I first started teaching. I'm working on them still today. But you still have them, but you have to recognize and really respect that you do have biases. You really do. I never knew about Hispanics. They weren't in my community. There was one in my high school, and she went as white. So guess what? There that went. When I got in, I started hanging out with the families. I told the families I'm stopping by. And then I said, oh, so Miss isn't disrespect. Miss is really a sign of respect. Okay, I want to do this. I mean, just, you learn so much more, but you have to get the trust of the family. So empowering these programs that we can start in the district, we have enough people that we can start to do all of this. So I'm not buying that we don't have the people, because we have a lot of teachers, administrators, community liaisons, parent liaisons, rep. We can keep going. So it's there, we just need to sit down all together to empower. My interviewees input, I had 2. But they did some extensive interviews with me, and I did them at separate times, didn't know about each other, and all of their answers came out together. I had one speech pathologist, and the other was a SEED. He pushes into classes daily. And according to the interviewers, they need support for families with paperwork. That's the number 1. Most parents have negative experiences, however, they need SPED services. The SPED services needs improvement, and they agree with that. Waiting lists are long. There's another problem. So currently in our school, there are 2 students that need Mary Cariola. They're on a waiting list, and they're still there. They were diagnosed, this is June, December, they're still there. So that child is already 2 years behind. And guess what? We're not guaranteed they're gonna get anything next year. So these are the things the parent has signed off on the paperwork. So it's not the parent, it's the district. The team said, oh no, we don't have any room, we can wait list them. We've waited list a lot of students just in the last 2 years. So how do you help a student if we wait list them? I can guarantee if I go out to Brighton, Pittsburgh, Fairport, guess what? 2 days, Let's get this done. Even Greece. Greece is checking out students in 2 weeks. You walk through that door, if there's any questions, we got it, don't worry. So you have to, we as a district have to redo this whole plan because it's not working. And I understand interpret it the way we need to, but don't interpret it on money. Interpret it on these kids' backs because we're leaving. We're growing, we're leaving, we're expanding out, but we need to leave something for the next to continue because the teachers coming in are gonna need our support, but they're gonna need our support that we leave a solid foundation for them to follow. Relationship building, another consensus in the room. We have to, I do monthly parent engagements. It has helped. Parents talk to one another, parents figure out their own problems, they support one another. That's what I need. I can't do everything plus help the child. So that is very, very important. Now, I'm not talking about the parent that just wants to run through your room anytime they want. No, I'm not talking about that. Now, some parents, you can build a relationship. There's no appointment necessary, but they're gonna call and give you the heads up anyway. Those parents are gonna say, Pam, I'm coming in, I just wanna sit down for a few minutes. It's up to you when you get here, okay? But that relationship has already been built. Now, the connectedness we talked about, building relationship and community. All of that is very important. If we don't have the community schools, I walked to school when I was younger. Had friends that I walked with. These kids don't even have friends. They're on separate buses going to different sides of towns. So to me, that incorporates why we have more gangs because they're trying to build another family. Because if I don't have friends somewhere, my mom is working, my brothers are doing their own thing, I need something. So we always have to look at why is that being built. The pediatric obstetrician and discussion observation, we've done that. So inquire, observe, and build trust. And we have to look at the equity, because that's all it is. Because we know that, but we have to make sure that people are held accountable, as well as ourselves, because right now, there's a lot going on. Educational resources for parents. This was another one. We have to have empathy. Educate parents on autism. I'm still being educated on autism, the different spectrums. I mean, it's so much that's new. We're always in the PD to learn something new, and in the community. And what are special services? Explaining this to parents because their different definition of it and ours is totally different. So you want them to be able to connect. Remember, to me, special services at this age, like I tell them, the growth, we want them to expand out of it. We don't want them to be in it till they're in 8th grade, till they're in 7th. If we can help, let's get them set up and ready to go into general ed classroom. But we have to start at the very beginning. And how to navigate through the paperwork. Now, one of the interviewees did say, where do we cut it off, though, Pam? Do we support them all the way through it? Or do you just guide? I think we support and then you feed off of the parent. Because parents are gonna say, oh, I got this. And you're gonna say, okay, now, this is the end. There's still a goal that we get it done. So that was my feedback, but he was like, I've had parents where I've had to walk all the way through. I said, me too. I'm still walking some parents through from September, but they still have stepped back a little bit and I can tell when enough is enough. You gotta read the room, I guess I should say. And what does equity look like for pre-K? Make it parent driven, advocate better services, connect with parents, present or previous experience, and create exposure. Let these parents in the building, let them see what we're doing, and make the building welcoming, not like a prison cell. How much do we support and what parents should we lead? That's where I think you should touch base with all of them. I do, I feel that. And phone calls are now back working again because I'm gonna tell you, Facebook, I'm not on it. I don't deal with it, it's just too much. YouTube, I'm there, but I'm not looking for information for my child on either one of those sections. All right, future recommendations. Inclusivity will work, but together is better. Respect, all the time working for understanding what is happening, moving forward to support parents, build, and keep them engaged. We're all busy, but we can make time for what we need to. And those are my references.